Jerry Springer.
It's working? Yeah. You've written some amazing songs. I wondered if you could talk about, do you know when you've written a really good song, when you've written it, or only when you get it down on the album and accompanied by music?
That's a good question, actually, and it's the great bane of songwriting, is that you just don't know. You can spend an enormous amount of time on a lyric, hone it, getting on the page it's something that you feel really proud of, and you can toss something off in 5 minutes and bring that into the studio as well. And the great song that you kind of play and you expect the band to all kind of swoon and think you're a genius is a pile of shit. And the thing that you wrote half thinking about it turns out to be like the Mercy Seat or something like that. You really never know, and that is for me, the great anxiety of songwriting. And I don't feel that when I write other things. I don't feel that script writing or writing a book or whatever. You can kind of tell what something's like on the page. The great thing about singing, which I was saying before, really, is that you get the opportunity to sing the words and to change the words by actually singing them. So some of the most meaningful things that you can hear on a record, I don't know if anyone's ever done this, you kind of Google them to find out what the words are, and they don't really work on the page, but they mean the world when they're sung. So you never really know you never really know. I don't think I'm picking people. Am I? I can, yeah. Hello.
Hi. Over here.
All right, can we get this going a bit quicker?
Sure.
The people with the mics.
So a lot of your lyrics you use kind of like, you reference like kind of modernity, like frappuccinos, iPhones, Miley Cyrus perhaps. I'm just wondering, when I hear those lyrics, they always jar on, but often they do work, and I'm just wondering, you don't really hear such reference to, such often vulgar things. I was wondering if you're trying to achieve one thing with that, or if you notice that you're doing it.
Yeah, no, of course I noticed that I'm doing it. I think really that happened on a record called the Abattoir Blues record, on a particular song called Abattoir Blues. I can't remember what it was. It was something about the Frappuccino line. And I wrote that, and it gave me this sort of physical jolt because I think up until then, people kind of sort of saw my song lyrics as existing in a kind of another time or something like that, like the old English ballad or something like that, and throwing these extremely modern images in there gave a kind of visceral shock or it gave a shock value to that particular line, and I guess I've done that a lot since then. Yeah. So, I noticed you said sometimes it works. We can talk about that later. Yes?
Nick, sorry, over here.
I actually got lights in my eyes, so I can't really see. Yeah.
Nick, I always find it interesting when an artist I really likes another artist. So to say you like Brian Ferry for me is kind of exciting. So a bit of a boring question is, what Roxy music or Brian Ferry song would you cover or would you consider covering?
I wouldn't try and cover any of them. We used to, back when I was in a band at school and stuff like that, we used to try and do Roxy music songs. They're actually extremely difficult to play. There's something very strange and quite sort of intangible about those songs that are quite difficult to capture. Least of all, Brian Ferry's extraordinary wavering voice. So I wouldn't ever try to do a Roxy music song.
Yes? Oh, sorry. Quick question. You said with the sit-back songs, you're basically trying to finish certain aspects of your life, probably, or leave certain periods behind. Question is for me, would you consider just taking one of your old books as the novel for your next tour, basically, just to have a like good night's lyrics, basically, just to read your old books, for meeting your former self again, and engaging with a person you thought you probably left behind?
My old books. You mean the other books, the other 2 books I wrote? It sounds like I've written like a shitload of books. But no. No.
I was wondering, Nick, over here. Stand up.
Oh yeah, that's good. Yeah, great.
Well, I've been to the USA, and it seems that comparably every town, every city seems very alike, especially compared to Europe. Will you be able to write something like the Sit-Back song? Could you have for a European tour?
I could, but it would be something really different. You're crossing borders, and I mean, we've got Canada, of course, but basically in Europe, you're crossing borders, and you are going into different countries. And there's something about the not doing that in the States that gives a kind of propulsion to the narrative of just ending up in the next place, and by bus or by flight. And there's a kind of tradition in, I think, in poetry, actually, of that kind of, with Ginsberg and Whitman and stuff, that kind of ecstatic feeling towards that particular country that I felt, not through those particular writers who I don't particularly like, actually, but that kind of rush of feeling that being on a tour of the States gives you. I don't actually find the towns alike at all, really. I mean, I know they're all got the same shops and all of that sort of stuff, but they very much have their own characters and often extremely different from city to city, I find. I find it incredibly exciting in that way. I always have.